43. Today we are recording this. We're live streaming it from the Justin Nelson Sphere Rocket business event, and we are joined by some amazing guests. Sans Kelderman.
Sans Kelderman. This is cool, though. We've done these in Nashville, all over the country, and this is an amazing crowd. This is super fun. I'm trying to not act nervous in front of so many people. This is awesome, man.
Yeah. And so before we get started on this, we'd like to thank our sponsors. So the sponsor of our shows is, number one, if you are looking for a home warranty, right? And not just your dad's average boring home warranty. This is the updated, the new home warranty. And if you guys don't know about this, you need to check it out. Armadillo.1/tour. I think they're in all 50 states, so most of you guys are realtors here. Go take a look at it. The Ron Smith, he is an amazing home warranty rep. He will make sure to show up. He'll fly to your office unannounced and just come hang out. So Armadillo.1/tour, as well as Mortgage Mike. If you need a lender, hopefully this is not a lender-sponsored event. It doesn't matter. Our show is. So it doesn't matter. So a great loan officer is MortgageMikeOfTexas.com. So if you want to get that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, he's stamping everyone with it. So go take a look at it. Check it out. And then the last but not least is the best property management in Dallas-Fort Worth here in Texas. Homeward DFW. Go to homewardDFW.com. So let me ask you, let's start this out. So we've got Dustin Runyon, we've got Wayne Salomons here. I want to ask you guys a quick question, because I know, Dustin, you were on, an hour ago? Wayne, you were on this morning, so they probably forgot a little bit. If you don't know who Wayne is, he's 30 under 30. So please make sure to go comment on his...
He's from Alaska, so it's like an even bigger thing.
It will never die.
Yeah, 30 under 30, so maybe... Round of applause?
So recently.
Yes.
Just in the news.
Just last year.
Just a bit ago.
So John, is it Pew? John asked me this question because John had a great hypothetical that I'm not allowed to bring up. But he said, here's a better one. And think about this, guys. Which is worse? Disappointing someone you really love or care about, or being disappointed by someone you really love or care about?
That is a good one. Let's think about that for a little while we dive in.
Yeah, and I want everyone's answer. We're going to pass the mic around, and I want every single one of y'all's answer.
Every person in here is going to give us, I don't care if we're here till midnight.
Yes, yeah. So think about that, Dustin. But obviously everyone knows here at the event. Can you kind of give us a backstory of who you are for the show?
Yeah, absolutely. I got into real estate in 2008. I was one of those people who always wanted to grow up to be a realtor, because I saw, to be completely honest, I saw my mom was a realtor, and I saw all of the women at the office had fancy cars, and I wanted a fancy car. And so...
Not the women, though.
Just the car.
Okay.
Just the car. And so I got into real estate in 2008, and we started doing short sales, obviously, and had a short sale team with a friend of mine that I met off of Craigslist. Yeah.
I could take this a lot.
I know you can, Nick.
Okay.
That was a softball. I literally
Yeah. And this is a kid-friendly show, so yeah.
Thank you for bringing your kids.
Yeah, yes. Not on Backpage, just Craigslist?
No, just Craigslist.
Okay,
yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
And then we did the short sale thing for a while, and then that's when the auctions downtown started too. And my partner had opened up an auction company called Bid Prestige, which was a play off of Prestige Worldwide. And did that till I was about 24, and then I moved to Lake Havasu City to run the Keller Williams down there.
So let's fast forward. So you made it through the worst recession of all time, and started running 2015. Started running the Keller Williams. Fast forward today? What does business look like today?
Business today is I have a real estate sales team, as well as a development company. So a real estate development company where we have all underground, all grading, so infrastructure, water, sewer, electric, as well as all of the grading, all of that's in-house, as well as the engineering, and then sales and marketing. So it's all in-house, and we have about 6 projects going right now.
Perfect. And you also have a coaching and coaching company that kind of helps with the psychology breakdown, the mindset for business owners or agents or both?
Honestly, I coach about 26 people right now, and it's across all different industries, to be completely honest. people come to me for business, and we usually end up personal. And so have that, and then we have the data company, Get IV Data.
The best data out there. Actually, I do need to sign up for that. So, I do want to ask you a quick question here in a second, but I want to intro Wayne. So Wayne, 30 under 30 from Alaska, doesn't know the difference between professional cleaning and not, but give us a breakdown of who Wayne.
One bad deal.
Give us a breakdown of
You
who
gotta
Wayne
hear
Salmons is.
Who is Wayne Salmons?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Like in the deepest sense of the word? Like.
We've got 20 minutes left.
I'm a dad, and I'm passionate. I own the Hero Nation Coaching Company, and we're passionate about helping empower people to be all they can be. So,
love it. So, the reason why I wanted Dustin and Wayne on, Brian and I talked about this, is if you've watched and listened to the Only Real Estate podcast worth listening to, a lot of the beginning episodes, Brian, like we even kind of got tired of it. Not us, but we were afraid that just listeners would get tired. That it always revolved around the psychological mindset.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward to what's going on today. How many of you would say that you're frustrated in your business? How many would say that you're exhausted, stressed out, you're tired, you're getting your ass kicked, and you don't know how much longer you could put up with that beating? Right? There's a lot of us going through this pain right now. So, Dustin, break down. It's going to be a two-part question. Kind of break down the mindset of getting past this today, where it almost doesn't feel like there's an end in sight. Seems like there's always a negative vibe out there right now. And if you're in a bad mental headspace, you don't know when that light at the end of the tunnel is going to hit.
Yeah. A little bit of what I talked about, if you were here, in about an hour ago, I got to be. I'm going to just be frank. I don't subscribe to the shit, like personally. So I do not listen to it. I do not subscribe to it. I do so much. I think of what feelings are is interpretations of things that don't actually affect us sometimes. So my question would be like, are there things that you think are affecting your business that actually aren't affecting them? Like we go into masterminds and they talk about Zillow. I go, why the fuck are we talking about Zillow? Someone going to raise $3 billion and fight Zillow? Like, why are we talking about Zillow? Like, you can't control it. So it goes back to my thing is like, if you're in a tough place right now, focusing on what you can control, number one. Two, get lean in your business. Like, I've never had to get lean because I try to stay lean. Really lean. And when I was at the Keller Williams, I was able to, I had like a lab. I traveled the nation speaking, and I had a lab of all of these real estate sales teams and what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong. And so I literally was able to model that which I saw that worked and then react to what didn't. And I see overspending lifestyle-wise and overspending in your business as a way to spotlight value that's just perceived value but not actually value. And so I would suggest get lean in both personal and that make sure that you're holding your money accountable, one. And then two, like, hire Wayne, hire a coach.
Say it one more time. Not just.
I'm serious. Like get a psychologist, get a therapist, get help. Getting help it's a superpower, man. I mean, that's what I've learned about people is that people that are like top, they're just quick to help, quick to ask for help.
I want to dive deeper on that and just kind of give you like my personal experience and why these questions are so meaningful to me. I've been incredibly blessed in my business in the last 2 years, and we sold over 300 houses last year, and I still feel like a baby giraffe in my business. Like I'm still learning as a leader. I still wake up every single morning and don't know how a lot of this happened, right? But I have a saying. I say it every single morning. I said, the only thing you need to be able to sell real estate in America is to be able to type on a computer and speak English. Everything else is right here, right? I talk about the psychological aspect of it a lot, and one of my favorite books is Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And I feel like we're going into such a transitional period in this industry that I've never experienced before, right? And so when we talk about things like getting lean in your business and I've leaned a lot into trusting the process and building habits, right? And understanding that the result will be there if you abide by your habits every single day. When you talk about things like getting lean or being true in your business right now, what type of questions do we need to get in the habit of asking ourselves every day to be able to show up the right way in a period of transition?
What am I pretending not to know, and what am I resisting?
Pretending not to know.
I think there's a lot of agents that are pretending not to know there's compression. A lot of agents are pretending not to know what they need to do. And I think resistance is the biggest thing that's holding people back right now. They're resisting the change. And that resistance, it's almost like a resentment. I shouldn't have to write 8 offers. Yeah. I shouldn't have to, and this resistance and this resentment is crushing their soul and killing their business. So it's what am I pretending not to know? And what am I resisting? Those are the two that I think people need to look at. And
I said that at our team meeting the other day. We talked about the difference between ordinary and extraordinary people, and I have 4 things, but one of them is the inability to accept objective reality. Mm-hmm. Am I pretending not to know? Right? Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
I like the resistance part. I'm trying to find right here. If you saw or part of the Good to Great mastermind that we put on, I opened up and talked about resistance, right? And usually when we're resisting something, so think about this right now in your business or maybe your personal life. What are you resisting at the moment? And when you start resisting things in your personal life or in your business, what impact does that have? Because usually it's out of fear. And when you resist on doing the same thing every day because you know that it will lead to a certain result, but you're like, I don't think, we've got compression or we've got Zillow. There's no way I can compete with Zillow. So it's just not worth making the phone calls. In fact, cold calling's dead. It just doesn't work. So how am I going to be able to compete? And then you start resisting that, and now not only are you affecting yourself and your business and your income, how are you affecting your personal life? How is your partner, spouse, whomever, your kids, how are they affected because you're resisting doing certain things in your business? So that speaks volumes, Wayne.
It's like, what story am I telling myself that's making this harder than it needs to be?
That's so good. Yeah, I find when you're in the state of justification, that you're also in the state of avoidance. And so that's really good.
Justification is like the light. Like when I hear myself justifying something, it's like, like that light just goes off and it's like you're going to crash.
It's like a symptom. It's like a rash.
Yeah.
It's like justification's a rash.
If we spend as much time as we spend denying what is happening around us as we did preparing for what is happening around us, how much better off? Yeah. I know this about Nick. This is why I respect Nick so much. He's one of my heroes, even though he's my best friend. Nick built a bomb shelter on March 11th of 2020. He just accepted what was happening.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, and I love that. Hey, this is like 2 years ago, and I interviewed you, and I was like, "Hey, Nick, what do you wish you would have done faster?" He's like, "Man, I wish we would have pivoted faster." Blah blah. And I was like, it took you a week. And he's like, yeah, man, that was crazy. I'm like, wait, everybody else like 8 months, 10 months, whatever. And he's like, man, it took us a week. And that was just nuts. We lost so much ground. And I was like, a week, bro, that's amazing.
Yeah, we could have been, that was more of the online stuff. So the bomb shelter was like, that's exaggeration. Heather, I outsourced that to my wife, Heather, on that. Like, look, let's be real. I came up with the idea. She just followed through. So she's the real winner on that one. Dustin, let me ask you, and then Wayne, in today's environment, now that we're more remote and we're dealing with, even the COVID's flaring back up, and as a leader, has leadership changed? Is there a different way to lead today than leading in 2019?
That's a really good question. Again, to be transparent, I'm in a small town of 55,000 people in my town, and we haven't been as affected with regards to the whole remote working and thing. But I will speak on this with leadership. I think people are more conscious than they've ever been, and I think they know truth when they see it. And so if you aren't leading with your heart and your heart's not truly in it, I think people see that regardless of whether it's on a screen or whether it is in person. I was at a mastermind the other day, and the gal goes, "I want to start a team, and what do I do next?" I go, "Wait, real quick, why?" Because unless it's that you really, really, really want to lead, I would say sometimes it's better being a number 2 than a number 1. Because leadership, people can see your shit today. I think we're able to get away with a lot of shit like a decade, 2 decades ago that you just can't get away with today. So I think you have to be living in alignment with what it is that you're trying to lead.
I think a huge part of it, because I see a lot of this in the corporate world, like get back to the office, get back to the office. And the reality is they just suck at leading in this new world, right? A lot of our culture was formed by being able to rub elbows. And you kept touch with people because they passed you in the hall. Like there's all these things were happening, and most leaders have not got great at connecting with the heart of their people, and they haven't got great at building out strategies. It's super unsexy, but strategies and systems and processes to take care of their people, right? And they've got to go and they got to figure out how do we intentionally build community when we used to be able to just kind of get away with like having team meetings so everybody laugh. Like how do we actually do that now that we're in this more remote world?
Like it. So leading in that, one of my coaches was talking about we need to start as a leader. We need to start future pacing conversations better, because what got us here today.
Future pacing, you have to define that. I think you
made sense for me.
Casting a few weeks ago. What is future pacing?
Oh, that's the new word.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired of future casting. It's future pacing.
Justin said like 6 words that I had to look up. I'm like, that sounds all. I don't know what
future pacing is the new. He went with it. I paid a lot of money for this place, so obviously he knows. But it's pacing in the future for them of showing them where we're going, because what got them there is more than likely. If you look at most people, because I'll be transparent with everyone here, which is going to be a little hard. My business is nowhere near what it needs to be. And I went through a traumatic event October 6th of last year. I lost a business partner and a brother. And so I have not led my people. And so I started asking them, I said, look, I'm feeling like I'm failing as a leader. How can I get this back? And he's like, you need to start future pacing the conversations, future casting, and we'll go back to that word. And most businesses are actually down right now because they're not pivoting. They're not doing what they need to do because they're only doing what used to work. And times have changed. And that started hitting, and I go look at our numbers, and I'm like, all right. The minute that we started kind of having this conversation that, hey, by the way, there's potentially recession coming. Hey, multiple offers aren't, instead of 30, you're only getting 2 to 3. Like, what do you think that means? Yeah, God forbid. Yeah. What do you think that means, though? And so, from a leadership side, we need to do better at understanding how to lead those people and pace them to where they want to go, not where they're already at.
That is perfectly said. I love it. Yeah, you need to frame the future into today. Yeah, and lead.
Or future pace.
Yeah, future pace. I got that. You said it perfectly. Yeah.
I think talent wants to be pushed. Talent wants you to look in the eye and say, I see you as a 10 and you're showing up as a 4. How are we going to get you to a 10 over the next 6 months, right? Like, that's what talent really wants. And I think over the last couple of years, people have got tired of doing meaningless work. Right? People want to do something that makes a difference. They want to do something that matters. And I think people are really conscious of, am I proud of myself? You talked about that earlier, right? Like, are you proud? I think most people lay their head on the pillow at night, and one of the questions that's unconsciously running through their brain is, am I proud of me? And I think if you can help connect that in their work, then I think you're going to miss the boat and they're going to go somewhere else.
That's so true. I think to tie a lot of this together, and I love that, and I appreciate that. To tie a lot of this together, I know in my personal journey, and I want to get both your business on this because all 3 of you, honestly, are people that I aspire to be. I've never stopped to think about, and Wayne asked me this a couple of weeks ago, he asked me, what do you think your best qualities are as a leader? And I've realized through the last...
your hair?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you just want like this is the kind of bro.
And he's jacked.
Yeah, that's Bob paid for it, though. Yeah. Y'all don't know. That's actually yeah. You can buy this shit, by the way.
It's looking good, though.
And I'd never been asked that question before. And the more that I thought about it, and I thought about it ever since you asked me that a few weeks ago, I feel like we got to where we are in our business I just did a lot of stuff every day. And I think the only quality I had was I just wanted to do things every day, and I wasn't afraid to screw a lot of stuff up. And I mean, even now, we've sold 32 houses this month, which is awesome. And I just had to deal with a situation where a lot of people were super pissed off stage. Like, things are always breaking all the time. So I've never been able to answer that question, and I think it's something that can be learned. I think I'm living proof that leadership can be learned. It has to be, because I don't have it in me at all. And so if I was going to get up every single day and have a distinctive, call it habit stack, whatever sexy term you want to use, if I want to start a team for the right reasons, by the way, starting a team is the wrong reason is to do less stuff that you don't want to do, because I guarantee you there's a whole lot of shit you don't want to do on the other side of it as well. How do I get up every day and go, these are the things I need to do every single day consistently to be a better leader? And the actions I need to take.
So how do you discover what those are?
Yeah, I think it might be different for everybody, but how can I at least make a concerted effort to maybe uncover that in myself?
I think first off, it's really hard to see when you're so close to the tree. It's hard to see what's going on. So I think you need someone like Dustin to go, bro, like, you suck at this. I think it's part of it. But I think the other part of it is, and I love this term, that every frustration is an indication.
Yeah.
So we talked about hammer earlier, right? So we have frustrations like just work harder. It's like, hold on, take a breath, and when you have a frustration, do an investigation to get clear on what the frustration is, and then you probably need to go work on that shit. You need to hire it out, or you need to go work on it. What's that?
I think to be a coach, you just have to rhyme words together.
Yeah, you just,
I think that's all.
Yeah. The more acronyms, the better.
I just really picked up on that. I'm like, riches in the niches. If you just riches in the niches all day, you're good.
No, I have a VA talking to me right now. This is good. Keep going.
What you're saying, though, and this has been something that I've had to practice so much, is to take a step back from the emotional reaction you have to everything, especially when you're leading a larger group of people. Man, if you're the most emotional person in the room, you cannot be the leader at all. You're coming from a place of reactiveness all the time.
Yeah, I mean, emotional regulation. Yeah, to be a leader, I mean, and today, or just to be a leader in general, learning emotional regulation is not a should. It's an absolute must, one. But the question that I ask myself is, like, I want to make sure that I'm never asking anybody that I'm surrounded by even close to what I ask of myself, if that makes sense. Like, even everyone in my organization knows, like, I'm going to ask you this much of what I'm doing. And so making sure that I'm creating opportunities still, and I'm making, it sounds cliche, making shit happen.
That's where $2,500 a month coaching.
I put it a few weeks ago.
$2,500 a month, just make shit happen. That's it. So that goes back to, and I want to be respectful of Justin's time up here. So we've got 7 minutes. So that goes back. Actually, then that follows up with, you're not asking people. You're not asking people to do things that you wouldn't do, right?
Yeah. I would ask this question. I want your guys' take on this. I was in real estate in 2008 when there was a strong recession. I got up every single day. I got on the phone. I called people. I then went to those doors. I knocked them. And then my transactional coordination was negotiating the short sale to close. What am I doing differently today outside of what I'm saying?
You tell me. I don't know what you're
No, meaning, like, should you do anything different today? Like, we make calls daily, we connect with people, just what we're saying is different than what I was saying then.
Yeah. So, look, there's times I struggle with that when I say what got us here is not going to get us there. But there's always things that still work in your business that you should never abandon. Because there's times when, whether you're in real estate or any industry, there's times that you built a successful base, but we always envy someone else's business, and they're like, you know what, Brian over here, he's crushing it with. He just does these lives every day and combs his hair, and he's getting a ton of business with it. Getting a ton of business this way. I think I'm going to do that. And then they just go and abandon what was working. So it is a struggle at times when it's like, all right, what did get you here is not going to get you there, but but there's the asterisk there that is, there are certain things that will always sustain your business so that you can then go and figure out if you want to comb your hair out live on Facebook videos.
Yeah, I think I forget who said it on, maybe Dan Beer, who I saw a video of. He's like, we're sales. If you really look at the basis of sales over the past even 80 years, this guy is like 92, he owned car dealerships. And he's like, I hear your shit, dude. It's no different than what it was then. And so I think there's that foundation that'll stay the same.
We're always searching for something sexier that doesn't involve us getting rejected, right? I think we're just trying to move away from rejection and move away from pain. We're quick to run away from pain and then go towards pleasure. And so the pleasuring spot of that is like, man, if I could just attract all this business the way so-and-so does, I mean, I'm just as good as they are, right? And you then go down that and you realize that it's actually not as sexy as you thought it was going to be. And then what do? You abandon that. Then you start testing out all these other things with no end game in sight. And then you release and you stop doing what was working. And then all of a sudden you look up, you look at your P&Ls and you're like, man, I only have 2 months worth, and I'm about to lose my house.
That's the thing that so many people succumb to. And the thing is, we don't. Extreme Ownership is a great book about simplification, right? Like we tend to get lost in complication. What I mean by that is Dustin makes a great point. The difference between 2008 and now is really nothing if you have the mindset of, I need to get up every day, talk to humans, and figure out how to solve their problems. And the mechanism behind that, holy shit, the mechanism behind that might be different. And you'll learn, you know how you'll learn the new mechanism? Talking to a lot of humans and helping solve their problems. What we do is we look over the fence and Nick's doing a lot of pay-per-click shit right now. And then you'll try to do that. And go, well, somebody else is doing a lot of lives or live events or webinars or database stuff or pop or whatever, right? We don't have the core habits of, I need to talk to humans today and help solve their problems. And if you do that, and you have that intention every single day and you never let that go, you will probably find the best way that works for you to talk to humans and solve problems. But we try to get into the sexiness of, this is going to work. We get too into the methodology. And methodology is so specific, right? Every professional athlete plays ball a little bit different. They just do, right? The methodology is different, but the intentions and the habits are the same.
That was good.
So let me ask you, which is worse? Disappointing someone you really love and care about, or being disappointed by someone you really love and care about?
In fairness, I wanted my question to be, what dinosaur would you be?
T-Rex. It's obvious.
Megalodon. Bigger.
I just think the arm would be
Ouroboros Rex.
Indominus Rex, I think, is bigger than the T-Rex.
I think that was created in Jurassic Park. That's not a real.
That's based on a true story. Ask Asher. Ask my son.
The true story of Jurassic Park.
Yes. He extracts DNA from mosquitoes every day.
I think that the disappointment would be compounded if I disappointed someone else. I could get over someone else disappointing me.
Is the person that's disappointing you, do they have a track record of doing that in their life? Because there's times when something will happen, I'm like, just look at the track record. I'm not as disappointed then, if that makes sense. If it's someone who's never let you down,
you're gonna let me down.
Yeah, never let me down, then maybe I'll definitely take that someone disappointed me. I don't want to disappoint anybody.
So I think part of it, and I'll take a different spin on it, I think part of it is, am I trying to take credit for everybody's results? Like if I'm trying to take credit for the good stuff that happens, that means I have to take all the credit for the bad stuff that happens. Right? I don't get the credit. My job is to give them the tools, do my very best as a leader. But I don't really get to take credit when they win, and I don't have to suffer all the pain when they don't win if that was their choice. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, actually.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah, that makes.
Won't fill you up, never let you down.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think obviously
not bad. It's different, but different.
I think it obviously depends on the situation. I think there's disappointment and then fucked over, and fucked over never feels good. If somebody fucks you over, and it depends how close they are. Kid show. Sorry, my bad. But is it a family member? Is it a spouse? What is it? But if you're just in generality, I would much rather disappoint somebody because I know that I will do whatever it takes to make it right in my heart. And I try to have the least amount of expectations I possibly can for others.
Oh, I like that.
The last little thing of that is I think the key, great leaders time travel. So they go into the future and they go, is Wayne a year from now going to be proud of what Wayne did today? And I think great leaders, they time traveled a lot to help them make really, really great decisions.
Wow. Man, that's super.
That is good.
Can I end it with 10 seconds with this quote? Because that just reminded me of it. It's my favorite one. There's a 70-year-old version of you staring back at you in the mirror, begging for you to do the right thing right now. That sticks with me every day.
That's so good.
Was this good? Yeah. So here's how we're going to end episode 143, because there was a lot of applause there. So if everyone can take out their phone and go subscribe to the only real estate podcast worth listening to. We're on Facebook, we're on iTunes, 5-star reviews, please. And make sure you're going to want to get with Justin Nelson here at Sphere Rocket, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not using the virtual assistant teams that he has, it's changed. I can speak for myself and Brian, it's changed our business drastically and dramatically.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't hired a virtual assistant yet, and he did not pay us to do this and say this, but because of him and his coaching and his platform, it's allowed us to be able to run the show without worrying about our businesses as much. So give a round of applause again for Justin, and then go to the Sphere Rocket, whomever the reps are, get with them, and I would sign up with them today, because there's going to be some cool, exciting shit he's about to release.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, can we do one really cool thing first? Could we do like I want my kids to think that I'm cool. Could we do like one selfie where everyone's like freaking out, like stand up and freak out? We'll just pretend we're like cool for a second, so I can show my kids.
You guys down for that?
All right, here we go. All right.